Hey everybody, welcome in. It's the LL Sports Podcast with Jason Guarente, Jeff Reinhart here, LNP and Lancaster Online. There's a ton going on in spring sports around the LL. We have championships, we have semifinals, and Jason, let's lead off here. Last Friday and Saturday in the rain and the sprinkles in Landisville, we had the LL Track Championships. What stood out to you most, my friend?
Well, first of all, we'll congratulate the team champs.
Yes.
Cedar Crest boys
Yep.
held off Ephrata, and McCaskey girls, which I believe is 6 in a row.
6 in a row, I noted. So that's pretty great.
They are a just juggernaut when it comes to track and field.
Yes.
Just so many great athletes and sprinters, and they just pile up win upon win. Let's talk about the multiple individual winners.
Okay.
On the boys' side, there was Hector Vergara at Octorara, who won 3.
That's
we'll talk
amazing.
about him in a second.
Okay.
Travis Fermansky at Cedar Crest, who swept the 1632,
Not
which
surprised.
is a pretty common sweep for the top distance runner. Ryder Newland from Ephrata, who's a name we haven't mentioned here.
Oh.
He swept the hurdles, the 110 and the 300.
Okay.
And Wilder Long, who we talked about, who's the baseball player who had a lot of injuries, who's throwing now in track, he swept the disc and the shot put. So 4 multiple champs, which is a remarkable feat. But Vergara
Amazing.
had an all-time day, really.
Yes.
When Nick Keller was at Ephrata, he graduated last year. He won the 100, 200, and 400, the 3 sprints. Oof. He did it twice. He did it as a sophomore and he did it as a senior, and he was injured as a junior, so he couldn't compete in all 3. And that was considered an out-of-this-world achievement. It hadn't happened for something like 17 years before he did it. Vergara won the 200 and the 400.
Okay.
And he was 1/100th of a second behind Landon Weber of Cedar Crest in the 100. He was that close to the sweep that Nick Keller pulled off.
Yes.
And he won the long jump at 23 feet.
Wow.
Which is a really good distance. Yeah. That is a big-time athlete.
1/100th of a second.
That's what he lost the 100.
Wow.
With all that workload, he's running the 4 and the 2, and he's doing the long jump. He's doing one of those things where you're trotting back and forth to each event. That's an incredible day.
I know, what sport is it? Oh, wrestling. They have like a wrestler of the tournament or whatever. Yeah. I don't know if they do that in track, but I think he would have won the boys award.
In Berks, they have a trophy for the most individual points, and it's named after a famous athlete from the past.
Okay.
And Hector would have won that award if it existed.
I'd say, have a day, sir. Well done.
3 wins in a second is 38 points.
That's pretty good for one kid.
Pretty good day. So on the girls' side, there were 4 multiple individual winners, and they were the usual suspects.
Okay.
Cadell Howard swept the 200 and 400. She's a Cedar Crest senior. She's the state favorite in both of those events.
Amazing.
So she could be a multiple state champion on the track, which is unusual. You see it in the field occasionally. Kylie Mattis swept the 100 and 300 hurdles. That's 2 years in a row for her.
Wow.
She's a Mannheim Central senior. Eliana Schneider swept the high jump and the jav.
That's such a cool double.
She's she's a future heptathlete, so she's trying to round out all of her events. But those are her best 2. I think she also runs distance, but the jav is her best thing, and she won that. She didn't win it last year, so that was good for her to claim the title. And Ephrata's Sophia Rivera, who's the defending state champ in the disc and the shot, won both at leagues for the second year in a row. That's a double you see more often, like Wilder Long pulled it off on the boys' side. So 4 multiple champs on the girls individually, and then the big race to me was Ella Petrosky and Briley Miller in the 100, and Ella won that by 0.12. So McCaskey girls won the 100, the 800 with Vivian Salerno, the 1600 with Carolyn Main, and the 3200 with Rupert Garner Valley. So they won 4 track events and had 4 different athletes do it, which is incredible.
Did they have a baton problem in one again?
Dropped the baton in the 4x1.
Oh, that's a crusher, man. You wait all year for these 3 meets.
Yeah.
And then
Well, the 4x1 is the trickiest with the handoffs because
you're moving.
And it's quick and you have a small window to get it in there. And that's if you see a baton problem, that's usually the event that it happens in.
Oh, that's a bummer. But hey, McCaskey 6 in a row. That's impressive.
And there's no end in sight, right? Because
they're all sophomores.
A lot of these girls are going to be back, and just the depth of their talent is just out of this world. They didn't even win a field event. It was all on the track. They had field place holders, but not winners. So even without that, they were able to comfortably win the team title.
I'll remind you of our out-of-the-box predictions. You said Fromansky would run a 9.
I thought 32. He would. He didn't bust it out. He ran the 1600 in 4:13, which is a PR,
that's
and
good.
He ran the 32 in 9:23, and that's obviously he's running for team points.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of that at this meet where kids won't put out their best number because they're trying to score in multiple events to get their team the most points possible. So I'm sure there was some relays that he was on and things of that nature.
Probably, yes. And I think it was kind of drizzly and rainy when he ran that.
But that's not so bad for distance running. That's okay, as long as it's not windy.
And he won. He didn't get the 9 flat, but he won. I predicted Mason Proque Octorera would throw 205 and win the jav. He won the jav. 200 feet, 7 inches.
But those conditions that they had.
Windy.
Yeah, 200 is good at Hempfield on that kind of day.
Yeah.
It usually takes a perfect day where it's sunny and hot. So, that's still a really good number.
I would say so. Okay, districts are next at Ship.
Districts
this weekend?
Ship, Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday.
And states the following Friday, Saturday, and then we call it for track for the season. It's the first season to end for sport day.
I hope all the kids came out of Saturday healthy. Nobody blew any hammies.
Yeah, that's a remarkable day because every single finisher is a league champion. So it's just there's stories upon stories.
Yes. Okay. Well done, LL Track and Field Finals. They always do a bang-up job at Hempfield. Okay. As we tape on Monday, let's go lacrosse because their finals are on Tuesday night when most of you guys are going to hear this for the first time. Boys Lacrosse Championship, Tuesday, 7 o'clock at Conestoga Valley. Township, going for its 5th straight LL title, will take on LS. LS beat Penn Manor 17-11 in the semifinals. LS going for its first championship. Surprised by this matchup, maybe?
I think LS has a shot. This seems to be there. You look at this is about as great a matchup as you can have. Both teams were 10-0 in the league.
Yeah.
Each team has 1 loss total. Township is the top seed in 3A for districts, and LS is the top seed in 2A for districts. So this is as good as it gets because it's not an intersection battle or intra-section battle. Yeah. It's the 2 teams from each section that are the best, and we'll see. Township's always the favorite until someone says otherwise.
Yeah.
But if anyone's going to take them out, it could be this LS team. They got a very high-powered offense. They got Cole Lopez and Landis Todd, who are big-time scorers. They scored 250 goals as a team. So
that's a lot.
Sometimes you can win this game by just dominating possession, and then the other team can't score if they don't have the ball.
True.
And then on Township side, you got Brock Meglick and the 2 Hoopers, Ellis Voorhees Whitmer and Joe Algeo, who are standout scorers for the Blue Streaks.
I saw Cole Lopez had a big game in the semis when they beat Penn Manor.
That's a good win. You beat Penn Manor.
Yeah,
that's
Penn Manor had a
school.
good season. Yeah.
That was the marquee semifinal matchup. So.
All right, Tuesday night, also at CV, first game of the double dip, 5 o'clock, girls final. Jason, it's Township against Hempfield.
Yes. They played twice.
Stunner.
Section 1 rivals.
Yeah.
Those are the only losses Hempfield has in the league. They're both to Township. 16-9 and then 10-7.
That's close.
Yeah, that's an eye-opener because the Township League games are typically not close. They're often like 18-1.
Yes, 20-0, 21-1.
Especially
and
if they cross over, the Section 2 teams just can't compete. But Hempfield has been close. Now, can they get over the hump and can they win this thing? Township's won this league championship 15. Every year since 2010.
15 in a row.
The only thing that stopped them was COVID when they didn't have a season. You look, it's just Township, COVID, and then more Township.
Township.
It's Lexi Kaufman, the leading scorer, and then Reagan Taylor, who is the best soccer player in the LL. She's going to Colgate for soccer, is a 50-goal scorer in lacrosse. That is an athletic resume right there. So we'll see. Bryce Calabretta and Lucy Farney are the top scorers for Hempfield. So can Hempfield do it? Can they end Township's reign. That's the storyline.
All right. Don't miss it. At CV, 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Lax finals. While I'm on the same page on the mini notebook, let's mention boys tennis quick. They finished up District 3 doubles over the weekend in Hershey. One LL team duo got through. That was double A, tip of the cap. Pequay Valley's Nolan Stoltzfus at Pequay Valley.
He's a basketball player, too.
There you go, Nolan.
Point guard.
And Jack Feaster made it to the semifinals in 2A. Lost there, but they came back and won the third place match. So Jack and Nolan get bronze medals. Congrats. This week in tennis, we go to states now. The team state tournament starts on Tuesday. Pequay Valley is in 2A. Hempfield and Manheim Township are in 3A. That'll be the team tournament. The singles and doubles boys PIAA tournament May 22nd at the Racket Club. Multiple LL kids will be playing in that. We will have our eyes on it. Okay, baseball, there's a lot going on. There was a suspended game. There was an injury. And Monday night's going to be kind of a mess because they're going to play 1.5 games at the Stormer Stadium. Fill in the blanks, Jason.
A lot of this will be old news by the time this is released.
Sorry, gang.
We're taping about 6 hours before the semifinals are supposed to start. But basically, LS and Hempfield were suspended in the third inning when Cooper Williams, one of LS's best players, a pitcher, a first baseman, a slugger in the middle of the order, took a swing. And it was an interesting play because there was a stolen base. Cooper Hillen stole second, so everyone's eyes went to second base because there was a throw and a play at second, and he was safe. And then all of a sudden, Cooper Williams was just down in a heap in the batter's box, and it was kind of puzzling because it didn't look like anything out of the ordinary. And then he was down for a good 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, that's a long time.
While they figured out what the problem is, some kind of leg injury, and he had to be carted off the field.
Oh, man.
And then the presumption was we would continue, and then they investigated the turf and found that it had ripped where the batter's box is for the right-handed hitters. And there had been a play at the plate earlier in the game where a guy had slid into the plate. I'm not sure if that's when the turf ripped.
Okay.
But Scott Govern, who's the Manheim Central AD, and he was the game manager, decided they couldn't continue because you can't step into a torn turf batter's box.
No, not after a kid was carted off.
Yeah, and you just can't. You need safe footing to bat. Like you need that security underneath your feet. So they decided to suspend the game, and they're going to continue it Monday at Penn Medicine Park at 4:00, and then the winner will play immediately afterward against Manheim Township for the title. So Township survived a tremendous game with Northern Lebanon, which was trying to do the little school they could thing, which is always
us against
fun.
The world, baby.
When the little schools have a great team, I mean, Northern Lebanon was 19-0, and they take on the 6A Power, the Section 1 champs, up 1-0 going into the bottom of the seventh, and Township wins on a wild pitch and a hit by pitch with the bases loaded 2-1. So that's how Northern Lebanon's undefeated season ended, but they're still the top seed in 4A. So it'll be Township looking for 3 of the last 5 championships, and Hempfield is trying to go back-to-back, and LS hasn't won since 2019. But they were considered the 4 best teams, and that was the semifinal. So it was great matchups.
I said back in April, hey Township, let's go. Show us something in the postseason. And here they are, league final.
They've scored 4 runs in the tournament. They won 2-0 and 2-1. So they've had to do it.
Ways.
They've had to do it with pitching and making sure you make every play. And they have good starters: Tyler Shirk, Brogan Souter, and then they bring in Jack Kneff for like the last inning or the last 6 outs. It's tough, man. That's It's tough to get 3 or 4 runs against that group.
And then he trots over to the stadium and throws footballs around for an hour.
And he goes as the big 33 quarterback.
I saw Northern Lebanon live. I jumped on the baseball beat last Thursday and covered Northern Lebanon against Warwick in the quarters. Yeah. They were 20-0, and I can see why they were undefeated. Nice team, and I saw Adrian Gonzalez pitch. He's really good.
Yeah, they were 19-0 going into the tournament. That was 20-0, and they would have had Gonzalez for the championship potentially if they got there.
Yeah, he was really good.
And they would have been playing a team that had just had to play a semifinal.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows how that's going to affect things.
Yeah.
So it was close. They won in 1986, 85, 86. They won 2 years in a row, and they haven't won since. So it would have been ended a 40-year drought.
If they were going to do it, this was the team probably.
Yeah. But for them, the smaller schools, it's about districts.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to Pequea Valley about this, and all they wanted to do was make districts. They didn't care about the league playoffs, and they wound up just missing. So districts for the smaller schools is the big prize, and if they happen to steal a league title, that's just a huge bonus.
Yep, I could see why they had that run. That's a scrappy team, and they could hit, and they ran the bases well. And if you have that Gonzalez kid on the bump, he was really good. Okay, let's stay on the diamond again. Apologies, as we tape. Monday is the softball semifinals at Ephrata Middle School on their cool turf surface stadium. Solanco will play Northern Lebanon. Vikings still alive. Lancaster Catholic will play Donegal. Winners will play on Wednesday back at Ephrata at 7 o'clock for the championship. Jason, you were supposed to cover Solanco and Cleona the other day, but AC had a forfeit.
Yeah. Well, you look at those names. Solanco, okay, you expect them to be there.
Yes.
Northern Lebanon, undefeated in league play. Catholic, undefeated Section 4 champs.
Yes.
Then Donegal. That's the surprise.
Donegal beat Warwick for 5-3, I think.
And Warwick was the undefeated Section 1 champion.
Correct.
And there is no Section 1 team in the semifinals, which is unusual.
Yes, you are correct.
Nia Gibbs, 3 for 3 in that Warwick game for Donegal. Jordan Myers, 14 strikeouts.
Saw that. That's impressive.
So it's there for the taking now. Solanco's the defending champ, so you got to figure they're the favorite. But it's an interesting group. It's not a collection of schools you often see in the LL semifinals in the sport, so that'll be fun.
Friday, I covered Catholic against E-Town in the quarters.
That was an epic game too.
It was 9-8. Yeah. Like I go in thinking, all right, this is going to be an hour and it's going to be 2-1. Like good pitchers. And the first inning took like 45 minutes. But got to see Kaylee Detzlav in person. She's a treat. She slugged 2 triples. Like slug them.
At Stauffer Park, you can't hit a home run there. It's impossible.
No, and she said after the game, she goes, well, if our fences were like usual length, those probably would have been homers, but she had a leg out triples.
Yeah, that's an adult men's softball field, so it's like 300 feet over the wall.
Catholic ended up hitting 3 triples. Nevaeh Kennedy hit a triple. Basketball standout.
Well, everybody's scoring triples because you have so much outfield ground to cover.
I know. If you got it in the gap, they were gone. They were off to the races. So, Solanco's having a great season. I think they're still undefeated. I think. Are they 20-0?
This is 2 years in a row that they've gone undefeated into the playoffs.
It's tough to do, man.
Incredible.
I mean, look at Township Baseball. 2-0 and 2-1. That's a ball bouncing another way and you lose.
Yeah, it's even harder in baseball because there's so many pitching variables that you have to work through. At least in softball, you can use the same pitcher, 90% of the time.
Kaylee Detz. I was trying to interview her after the game. This was funny. And she got 3 different strategically placed ice bags, like one on her shoulder, one on her back, one on her elbow. And I said, I thought softball pitchers have rubber arms. I'm like, what's with all the ice? And she goes, that's a lot.
She's been through some things. And that makes the home run chain look even more incredible because you're not hitting home runs in that.
She have a triple chain.
Triple chain.
And earlier in the game, Nevaeh Kennedy slapped one over what we thought was over the first base bag for a triple, and the ump called a really late foul ball. Like kids were running the bases. She got all the way to third, and then he threw his hands up, foul, and we're like, what? Yeah. Okay. And then I think she was retired, but then later in the game she hit a triple. So that's a fascinating Final Four there.
Did they look at that on replay, or did they just let that?
There was no replay. There was no challenge. Nobody tapped their helmet.
Yeah, no helmet tapping. No. Like this is a thing that people do now.
Yes.
Like even when it's not a ball strike thing.
Yeah.
It's like no more.
No, you can't do that.
We don't need to show up the umpires.
We do not. Okay, volleyball last on the list of things happening. Again, sorry, Monday night's a busy night. Oh my. Monday, LL volleyball semifinals. 2 intriguing matchups. First up, Conestoga Valley, undefeated CV against Ephrata. Wait till you hear how they got in. Nightcap Hempfield, the 24-time champion, against Manheim Central, the state champ. Wow. That's the semis.
That's an epic semi.
That's going to be really That should be really good. And I know Central's not quite the same team as last year, but it's still Central, and you have to play and respect them. Ephrata finished in a wacky four-way tie for second with Penn Manor, Warwick, and Cedar Crest. Ephrata gets in on power rating. Not sure how many decimal points and zeros they had to go out, but Ephrata gets in on power rating. Central got in on power rating. They ended up tying Cocalico on the last night of league play last Thursday. Central gets in. Central is going for its fourth straight finals appearance. Barons won in 23 and 24, beat Warwick both times. As mentioned, Hempfield has 24 championships in 30 championship trips. That's amazing. But they have not won since 2021. Ephrata is back in the LL playoffs for the first time since 2016, 10 years for the Mounts. CV and Ephrata are both looking for their first volleyball championships.
Power ratings are an art. Being able to build up a great power rating, there's skill to that. And the coaches who are good at it, because you look at baseball, Hempfield in 6A is number 1.
Really?
Ephrata is number 2. And Ephrata is not even in the league playoffs. Wow. And neither of those teams won the section championship.
Yet they're
1,
rated
2
that
in
high.
District 3. So it's about scheduling right and then obviously winning the games. But you can't have any holes in your schedule or drags you down.
Okay. Does Cadell Howard win in districts?
Oh, I would assume so. She's head and shoulders above everybody. It would take something catastrophic for her not to win both.
And it looks like she's healthy, knock on everything. The throwers, does Pro K win?
If he throws 200, he wins.
Nobody else has hit 2 in the district?
No. And, it's, but Jav's weird. Like, you'll see kids who don't win leagues win districts. Yeah, it's in the old cliche. All it takes is one. I've seen kids walk off that podium who finished 4th in their league championships because they threw a 185 and it was a tough day and nobody else got there.
Yeah, and there's something about SHIP when you get there. Kids just get ready for that meet, and there's something magical about Shippensburg.
And SHIP's intimidating for states because it is swarming with people.
Yeah,
and the crowds are way bigger than anything you've seen all year. And their nerves start to get to you when you're sitting around waiting to throw.
Petrosky win the 100?
I would think, unless Briley Miller's got some magic in her. I mean, if you're under 12, I mean, you're the best usually around. There aren't many kids in the state who get under 12, a handful.
Miller really was on her heels big time.
Petrosky, she's special. She feels like the kind of kid who just whatever she needs, whatever gear she has to find. Nick Keller was like that.
He was great.
Like whatever he needed to win that race is what he had on that day. And it didn't matter the time. He was just going to be better than the kid next to him.
Covered him in football. He was a good wide receiver, too. He could really run. I remember his junior year, he got hurt.
He hurt his hamstring.
That's right.
Track,
Well, hopefully everybody's healthy here for districts because this is big. This is fun.
We will have a ton of district champions.
I assume. I think
there'll be some
AA
kids that you haven't paid a lot of attention to because the AA numbers are a little bit lower than the league championship numbers in some cases. So
a bunch of Anvil kids will win.
Yeah,
Moran will
Anvil's
win.
One of those.
Look out.
Yeah, and Moran won the 800 at leagues for the first time. That shows you how hard it is to win the league championship.
Yeah.
David Moran was a state champ and he had never won the league.
Yeah,
because he's in 2A, so he's able to do it. He was in the 155 range, which is really good.
Safe to say we will lead off next week's show with all the district track roundup stuff. We'll see who wins. Good luck to the LL contingent heading to SHIP on Friday. Have fun. Enjoy that. That's a great meet. Okay. Anything else on your mind? Speak now.
I just mentioned Lancaster Catholic. Cole Ports,
new old basketball coach,
is retained. He was the interim coach for Joe Klazis, who stepped down in December. They went through a process to
apparently
look
I heard
for a new coach, and they wound up sticking with the person they had. He's a former player.
Yeah.
He's a 2017 grad. He's been an assistant. He's been the acting coach when Coach Klazis was going through some health issues. So to me, it felt like an automatic, but apparently there was some introspection about where they wanted to take the program, and they wanted to go through a long process, and they just wound up with Cole Ports. And Joe Klazis speaks incredibly highly of Cole Ports, and that's good enough for me.
Me too.
Klazis has 350 wins and 4 district titles. He kind of knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and Joe we trust over there, no doubt. Speaking of new coaches, I teased it last week. Pequea Valley got their guy, and you know him really well. Andy Tibbins.
Can't get away from the Tibbinses.
No. Father of Drew will be Pequea Valley's new coach in football. Had a good chat with him last week. He's excited. Coached in the Garden Spot youth program, coached in the Pequea program, coached linebackers, O-line, special teams, coached his son. Drew was a great player at Pequea.
There's another Tibbins coming. Drew has a younger brother.
Correct. Yeah. They have several kids in the family, and I know there's another one coming. I don't know if he's at Linville or Pequea. I'm not sure.
He played for Linville basketball.
Okay. Must go to Linville. Yeah. So Andy takes over from Mike Choi. Thanked Mike Choi and Matt Samparini at Garden Spot for kind of being his mentors. He's anxious to get going. First time he's been a head coach, but he knows the drill at Pequea. Bringing in some new assistants with some experience. Hopes to have about 30 kids plus at HEDAC. So Pequea.
How long
30?
till media day, Jeff? How many days?
I don't know.
Do you have like
man.
a wall, like when they're closing a stadium in your living room, and you just tear off one number each day?
I should. Well, it'll be here before we know it. First week of August, I guess, is first Friday in August.
Yeah,
is
it's actually a week later this year. So
yeah, it is.
It was August 1st last year when we had media day.
A bunch of new coaches in football. We'll get to that later, but welcome aboard Mr. Tibbins at Pequea Valley. All right, is that it? Any more?
That's all.
Right.
Playoffs time. Let's crown some champions.
Yes, we will be out and about this week covering a ton of playoffs. So get on Lancaster Online, check for our coverage, grab a paper every day. We appreciate you following along. Okay, it's the LL Sports podcast. For Jason Guarente, Jeff Reinhart here, LNP and Lancaster Online. Thank you, Tyler, as always. Enjoy the playoffs this week, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.